Hey guys, just finished watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 6, Episode 2, Window of Opportunity. This episode was interesting. Now, the only problem that I still have with the show, and I think this is going to plague me for the next this season and going into next season, is that every time I'm watching this show, these new seasons, I keep remembering, it keeps reminding me, I keep thinking about how it's not all this season and the next season, most likely, is all going to take place before Infinity War, because Marvel is not interconnected, and they're not interconnected enough. They don't pass on information enough to tell the writers of Infinity War, of this show, what happens in Infinity War, what happens in Endgame, or at least the bits and pieces that they need to know as to here's how it would affect your story. So I think what they should have done for this show is last season. They should have, took that script and said, here's what we want to do, and then hand it off to the guys, to someone who's involved to Kevin Feige, who's involved with the Infinity War and Endgame storyline. And be like, okay, here's your storyline. Okay, here's what you need to know based on how it would affect you guys, right? The snap happens, people disappear, 5 years later, Endgame, all that stuff, and things like that. But we get none of that. And here, this storyline is definitely interesting. It's just not as interesting as it would be if, the implications of Endgame and Infinity War were involved. So I guess I'm going to have to try and put that aside as I get into these reviews, but it's just going to be very difficult to do that, with Spider-Man Far From Home coming out, and I'm about to go watch it again this weekend, Avengers Endgame, so I think it's going to be difficult for that to happen, especially with Endgame being all over the news. It's going to be in the news again when it's about to pass, as it gets closer and closer to becoming the number one movie at the box office of all time. So we'll have to wait and see as to where things go with that. So we start off this episode with Mac keeping it a secret that Coulson, that there's the person that they're hunting is a lookalike for Coulson, because the only person who's really seen that, it looks like, it was May and stuff. So I think that was kind of interesting, playing with that, like just being like, only one person's seen it. If anyone else had seen it, then it would be okay, we've got that corroborate. But then he eventually does put out the secret. That doesn't last too long. We see that his cover gets blown, as they find out that he's been kind of changing himself, and he's not really whatever alien he's pretending to be, and he's actually Terran and stuff. So I think that was kind of interesting there. And then we see that we find out that Surge is kind of Coulson with alien DNA and stuff. So that's kind of an interesting idea. And obviously he'd be somewhat Coulson. He looks like Coulson and stuff. So I think that's going to be interesting to play with that, to see is it actually a different version of him, like from the multiverse, which is something that they've been teasing in. They teased in the trailer for Far From Home and stuff. But at the same time, is the multiverse here? Because if you've this whole thing was written before Endgame and before Infinity War, and it takes place before that because they didn't know what was going on when they were filming and writing this. If I'm not mistaken, I had to take a look, but I'm pretty sure they would have filmed and finished completely filming this season 6 before even Infinity War came out, or very close to it. They might have been down to the last few episodes, couple, like 3 or 4 episodes at most before they went by the time an Endgame came out. So we'll have to wait and see as to where things kind of go with that. It could be multiverse version of Fitz of Coulson and stuff. But, that wasn't. They didn't know what was going to come out of Spider-Man Far From Home. Maybe they could have done that. That one's not as big of a movie. That they could have said, yeah, here's how this is going to affect you. They did. Marvel Studios let the people who are doing the S.H.I.E.L.D. show know all about Winter Soldier when that one was coming out. So why can't they do it for Far From Home? So I feel like if this is multiverse thing, then it's just absolute coincidence that they happen to be doing this. I don't see them sending information that multiverse is coming into Spider-Man Far From Home. Start dealing with it here. They could have maybe like, hey, yeah, if we just tell them about we're doing multiverse and Far From Home and not tell them anything about it, how, then maybe they'd bet that, because it's not really a spoiler. The spoiler would be how it gets activated type thing in the MCU. That could be something, a little bit of a spoiler, but something that you could easily trust with these guys. So we'll have to wait and see. I don't think it is. I think it could be something different. I mean, him having part human DNA and part alien DNA. Coulson would have alien DNA being resurrected the first time from from the Avengers and all that stuff with Kree blood inside him. So he would have some sort of alien DNA. So we'll have to wait and see as to where things go with that. We see that Fitz saves the crew above on the ship that he's trapped on and stuff. But he kills off the captains and stuff. So that'll be an interesting idea. That leaves him at the end of the episode to kind of just take off. And he goes off to save the crew and give them away before they go to the destination that the original captain had wanted to go and stuff. And they leave just as Daisy and Simmons show up and stuff. So that was going to be interesting to see where things go with that storyline. How seeing a bit more of their side. Looks like that's what we're going to be doing in the next episode. So that'll be fun there. And then we spend most of the episode though really just with May. She finds the invisible truck and finds Coulson and all that stuff for Surge and fights everyone. And then and it really was an interesting fight and all that stuff. But it's like, why the hell did she go all by herself? Yeah, she left a full TAC team with Yo-Yo just trying to break open a door. You couldn't take one van full of people, or that one van that she did take off with, just fill that full of guys, so she could have, at least 4 other guys with her, and leave the rather, 10, 15 at the door with Yo-Yo. It didn't really make sense. Or take Yo-Yo with her, she has her powers, and you leave her love interest guy there, Agent Keller, cutting the door open, right? I think that would have made more sense there. But it's just kind of silly that she went alone. And yeah, she's the cavalry and I get all that stuff, but still, after everything she's been through, she saw him, she saw them take down the entire building, which was the museum and stuff. So she should at least brought some backup. Didn't even look like she had any even gun on her or anything like that. So we'll have to wait and see. It was just kind of a bit of a silly move for her to just kind of go in all alone like that. Yeah, she's kind of, different from she's not thinking clearly because it's Coulson, I get that. But, bringing a small TAC team of, 2 other people with her, 2 other agents, not just going completely alone was just kind of a silly move. So we'll have to wait and see as to where things go with all this stuff. Definitely is quite interesting to see. Hopefully, because I think Jeff Loeb has said it all takes place before Infinity War, so it could, the likely of it being multiverse things. I think it's it's probably 1 billion to 1 for it to be that. I think it's a very, very low chance that it's going to be a multiverse thing, but you never know. I guess they could be pre-establishing multiverse before Endgame, before Infinity War, so we'll have to wait and see as to where things go, but I'm not holding my breath on it. So let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have.
Subscribing.
Sometimes subscribing is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?